Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next 2 hours, along with Steve.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And Spence is here.
Hello.
And Jorvik is here.
Hello.
Hello. Our numbers, 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by Telestream's Wirecast software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And by all of us, too. Right?
Yes.
No?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, another week passed. What? So
Did it really?
Steve, Jorvik, what do you guys think about? What do they think in the UK about us pulling out of that Paris Accord?
It hit the press quite heavily here, and lots of people were condemning our Prime Minister for not taking it officially, although she did speak to Trump on the phone, evidently, and expressed her concern. But yeah, there's a lot in the press about it.
I mean, if you listen to what's here, to facts, not to just talk, then it's a good thing. It's for the states, and it's not damaging the environment in any way. But I don't know. I'm not a scientist. It was dominating everything.
Well, some people's heads exploded.
Yeah,
And that's
most people's heads
yeah,
exploded.
but that's okay, because the reality of it is that, I mean, this is my opinion, so to speak. It was a bad deal.
It was a
And
bad.
it's
Oh yeah,
a bad deal. I mean, we were, everybody else was off the hook, and we're expected to pay. So all it really was is, and you even had the head of one of the UN organizations. I read the transcript of his interview saying, well, really what this is, it's not about the environment anymore. It's about transferring wealth. And you people are going to have to pay, basically.
Yep.
And that's why these other countries are on board, because they don't have to do anything, and two, they get buckets of money. So,
yuppers.
even the International Committee on Global Warming at the UN has admitted that if they do everything that they recommend to the strictest letter, that maybe in 75 years it might prevent the temperature from going up, if it does in fact mean anything, 1/2 a degree or something like that. It's like, yeah, so we're gonna. The argument is, well, what if you people were anti, not say anti-global warming, or if you people, the deniers, so to speak, who were terrible people. What's wrong with trying it? Because what if you're wrong? Well, what's wrong with not trying it? And what if we're right, and you just blow all this money? It's just we're like they were saying, we're one of the cleanest places on earth due to technology. What we've done, technology can fix this. It's not going to be fixed with transferring money around the world, especially when people, if there's something to fix. The latest numbers that came out from NASA, not getting a lot of attention, about how the ice sheets have actually grown. They follow the cycles of it now. There was a dip, and now they're advancing and now larger than they've been in the last 15 years. So, okay, how does that jive with the rest of the argument? So it's just some people are not being honest. We need to be honest and look at it objectively. A lot more going on here than just somebody's political football.
Politicians and honesty. Let me just think a second.
Yeah. But
it's
then
all
again,
right.
We're all used to not getting the straight story anyway, because it's everything that comes out of government, it seems like, is just designed for consumption, not designed for benefit.
All right. Let's see. Everybody's rushing to use Apple Pay and this Pay and Google Pay and, Well, so now...
Where's Never Pay?
So
I'll sign up for that one.
Money.
LG wants in. So the company rolled out LG Pay in South Korea on Friday.
Oh, blimey.
South Korea users of the LG G6 will be the first to be able to use the service. It allows users to register up to 10 of their frequently used cards, including credit, membership, and transportation cards, to make payments with LG Pay. Users tap their phone against a credit card terminal and scan their fingerprint. So, there's a bunch of money out there.
It's a pity they're not all compatible with each other. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that's wishful thinking, right?
Yeah, that's common sense wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I was concerned. I get this notification from my credit card provider saying your credit card has been added to Apple Pay. It's like, I didn't do that. So I removed it. Like, what do you mean? I haven't signed up for this. I don't want to use it. I mean, I will eventually use it probably, but I just had no interest in doing it. But it just showed up. Oh yeah, thank you for signing. I got a letter. Thank you for signing up for Apple Pay for your credit card. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm having not the same problem, but I got an email one day, about 2-3 weeks ago, that said that you got a message from such and such, but you have to use Messenger to open it. I said, what? Messenger? It was from PayPal.
Uh-oh.
So I called PayPal and I said, do you guys send out any kind of emails or messages or notifications that will require me to use Messenger? I don't even know what Messenger. It just says Messenger, not not Microsoft Messenger, not nothing, just Messenger. And he said no. So I deleted it. Well, I got another one. And I went and I started Googling, but you need to use Messenger, and it turns out it's Facebook Messenger. So,
but they sent it?
No,
PayPal
they did not.
will.
No, they did not send it.
Okay.
Here's how it goes. Apparently, Facebook is sending it to you because you told Facebook to send it to you. And I'm saying, okay, I don't remember telling Facebook to send me anything about PayPal. What does Facebook have to do with PayPal? So I went and Googled some more and found out how to remove it. So, and I removed it, deactivated it. It was good for about 2 weeks. Yesterday it started again. And I'm saying, why would anybody would want their Facebook to send them a notification about a PayPal transaction? I mean, remember, it's not saving you anything because you get an email, that tells you to open Messenger in order to read the message. So I don't even see the benefit of anybody having that done, because it's you have more clicks. So it was late last night and said, okay, I'll figure it out tomorrow how to do it again. But apparently they're being added somehow. I mean, I'm not adding it I don't mean to add it. Let's put it this way.
If you're going to the bother of sending me an email, which is a message, put the flipping message in that.
I mean,
Stupid people.
PayPal sends you an email every time there is a transaction. And I can understand that, and it's fine. And I have it with a filter going to the PayPal box, and everything is okay. This is like Facebook is saying, I'm going to let you know also. Well, I don't want you to let me know. I don't want you.
And do we want Facebook to know even more stuff?
Exactly. That's
like,
the problem.
Yeah, I use it occasionally. I mainly just have it to keep in touch with family. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, it's just not worth it anymore. You can't tweak settings anymore that you used to be able to tweak. You can't change top stories to most recent and get it to stay. Although I did find a workaround for that, by the way, if anybody's interested. Whenever you open up Facebook, it goes to top stories. And that sometimes top stories is the junk that Facebook wants you to see. But if you go to most recent and then set a bookmark for that and just always click on that bookmark, it'll open it as most recent, not top stories. But yeah, it's annoying.
That will.
If I hear Zuckerberg say anything else about his one world globalist policies, I'm gonna just
all these guys are getting to be world leaders, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. These are not necessarily the people we want to make making decisions for the rest of us, although they feel they should.
Yeah.
Because they have so much money.
I think you've nailed it there, Spence, actually, in what you said. You said Facebook, it's annoying. And that's it. That's all you have to say. I've unfriended a load of people this week and get fed up with stupid notifications about this, that, and the other. And I've tried to get the notifications turned off so I don't get them, but I'm still getting them. So I'll forget it.
And I don't, if someone uses Facebook for politics or to try to sell something or anything, unless you want to have a page set up for your company that people can go to talk about, that's fine. That's great. But if you're driving people crazy by putting notices out there for something other than letting me see a picture of your dog, I'm sorry. I want to see pictures, vacation pictures, what's happening with your kids. That kind of stuff is great. But
I'm fed up with seeing plates of burgers and chips.
No, for my close family, it's fine. I mean, that's how we see what's going on. My nieces and nephews have kids that I would never know anything about. They live far away, so it's good that I can post things about their kids doing things, and that's fine.
Well, family-wise, yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I don't have any family that's on Facebook, so I only get to see it from people that I've met in the cloud, see me doing inverted commas with my fingers.
People that I knew from years ago that I connected with Facebook who post an ad for their business. Like, wait a minute, I'm not in touch with you. I don't even live near you. So whether I would use your business or not, this is not an effective thing if you have friends all over the country because you have a local business. This is silly.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this is how it goes.
Yeah, I think that as with anything else, I don't know how long it'll take, but Facebook will peak something else will come along and it will be gone. It'll be the MySpace. It'll just fade away because there'll be something else will come along. Like there really are so many other things now that people don't use Facebook because they use something else. They'll use Instagram or you use some, whatever. And it's like, I think there's a psychological issue here too, with people just always having to be showing. I mean, I know one person in particular who changes their profile picture once a week of themselves. It's not like it's a picture of something else. It's a profile picture. They keep retaking a selfie of themselves and putting out a new profile picture every week. It's like, you know what? Something's wrong here. Something's going on with this person that is a little weird.
Where did I read something this week. Somebody sent me something that said Google gives you the ability to go and look at any place that they have pictures of images of in the world with Google Maps and Google Earth. So what do? You go and you look at your own house.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Or the center of your town. Yeah, it looks the same as when I was there last.
In fairness, if you have location services turned on, it's going to go there first anyway. So, but you're right. Yeah, I've used it for checking out places I'm going to visit that I've never been to before.
Yeah,
I mean, me too.
It's handy for that.
It's very useful if it's somewhere on in a location that's a distance from you. You sort of get an idea of what it's like to not drive up to it, but when you're getting close to it, you need to look out for that landmark.
I did use it to check out
Go ahead.
wilderness areas. Like when working in Alaska as a guide, there are places that there are no maps of, really. The map is just a line on a piece of paper with no real features on it. So if you wanted to go and look to see, well, here are these couple of places I need to know about, where are they in the scheme of the entire picture, and to get an idea of size and all that, I'll use it. They have some new features on Google Earth now that are overviews of areas they started to publish. If you have the full version, not the web version, but the actual app, you can go in and click on, well, give me the overview of Copenhagen. And what they do is they do this flyby thing that they've set up. It's pretty good. They're adding more all the time to this list, and it uses their technology, which is state of the art 3D full immersion kind of. It's not virtual reality, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, like everything else. I mean, it if you know how to use it and you use it as a tool instead of picking up the hammer and going around a house and saying, okay, where can I find a nail to hammer on? You pick up the hammer when you need it and you put it back down. So if you use the service the way that to be productive with it, then yes,
it's
great.
It's a handy embed for a lot of applications.
That's true too.
Like Craigslist. You look to see something you're interested in buying something, you go to that particular ad, and the embed is right there for the map.
Yep. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Now, to go back to the story from last week about British Airways. So now they're saying that a contractor doing maintenance work at British Airways actually inadvertently switched off the power supply It's not that it failed. He switched it off and just forgot to turn it back on.
And what did this power supply control?
I don't know. It says knocking out the airline's computer system and leaving 75,000 people stranded. I don't know.
That's a pretty big
power supply.
Yeah. That's not just like you press a little button, you turn off one fan or something like that.
No, I'll bet this was something that you go there with 3 levers and you know, pull down and all that. And I don't know what are they talking about that over in the UK, guys?
Nothing that I've seen. There's a report to say that it had happened and there was some turmoil in the terminals, and then that was it. We haven't heard anything else. Well, I haven't anyway.
No, there's not been much on it.
I read a story that they said that the chairman of British Airlines said that he is not stepping down because this has nothing to do with operations. It's obviously was an accident, and I guess somebody asked him to step down. I mean, I don't know why.
Yeah, somebody always asks people to step down. It's like that's how they flex your muscles by asking for somebody's head, even though it's not there. And most people in today's world, it's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to quit.
I mean, you know,
it was the contractor's fault for turning the power off. Well, why should the CEO step down?
Yeah, get rid of the contractor, get another contractor, or have the contractor pay you for the losses or the inconvenience or whatever. But I mean, for the chairman of, I don't know. You guys are learning the bad things from the United States.
There's a great story that this reminded me of from years and years ago, working for IBM up in the Hudson Valley as a big system, water cool system guy. We covered the IBM plant sites as well as outside customers too. But the plants had huge manufacturing facilities that were all controlled by big mainframes. And in one of the buildings, I don't remember what building it was in. This is just a story that was related to me by the guys that worked in this building. They had one of the lines. It was chip processing down in Fishkill, New York. One of the lines, every night the system would shut down at a certain time, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And it didn't always happen, but it happened. If it did happen, it was always around a certain time. Turned out the guy who would mop up at night, who cleaned up, he didn't work every night. It was some type of a shift thing. When he was done, he'd hit the red button on the wall to turn out the lights. Because he was said, well, make sure you shut the lights off when you leave. So he would hit this red button, everything would go off. He was killing the whole floor, basically, the emergency shutdown button for the entire floor. So they had to, I don't know how they found it. Either they put somebody there to watch or something happened. After several incidents, they finally realized what was going on. It was just this poor guy. They told him, turn the lights off. And he did.
Follow directions.
Yep.
Morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Hey, Nick.
Yellow.
Good morning.
So let's see what else is here. Since Nick just dropped in. Gamer. After 11 years.
Don't assume what I do.
After 11 years, Sony has stopped shipping the PlayStation 3 to retailers in Japan. The country stopped production on the 500 gig model in December last year, but now a recent update on PlayStation Japan's website suggests the other lingering units have all been shipped as well. It's only a matter of time before the console stops being produced altogether, so they did not stop producing it in other parts of the world. That's coming from Engadget. How old is PlayStation 3, Nick?
Didn't it say like 11 years or something? Didn't you read it?
Oh, that's right. It's 11 years They stopped shipping. Yeah, that's wow. And when did it become a too old to buy in the general gamers circle?
When the PS4 came out, but the reason the PS3 was really popular is that came out in 2006, 2007, around the Blu-ray time, and for a very long while, the Sony PlayStation 3 was the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market because it had the games were Blu-ray. So many people were purchasing this PlayStation, and it was expensive. It was $500 or $600. But compared to the $1,000 for Samsung and Sony Blu-ray players, there was a lot of people that used these as the first generation Blu-ray players because they were for the cost you were getting a Blu-ray reader and a game console for $500 or $600, while somebody like Samsung is selling a Blu-ray player for $1,200, and all it does is watch Blu-rays. So that's what it was really popular for. But the Japanese culture stuff is interesting, especially with Sony. They're based out of Japan. The market in Japan and the way that they consume entertainment is very, very different to the way that we do in the United States. When something sticks and is really popular in Japan, it is really popular for forever. And Sony releases different products, different models, different versions of the game systems that they produce in Japan, because of the way that the Japanese culture operates. It's very fascinating.
So, are you saying that if they kept on producing it, they would still be able to sell it in Japan?
Oh, absolutely. People are still buying these new in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just it's a very weird. It's just very. It's not weird. It's just different. How culture and especially Sony, because of the way they're a Japanese-based company, not like Microsoft tries, but it's not their home field. They hit the U.S. They hit the U.S. hard. It's their stomping ground. It's kind of the opposite with Sony and the way that they produce stuff. But I mean, video games in general, there are certain versions of games that are made just for Japan and are not playable in any other region. It is very, very weird. Especially same thing with China. There's certain versions of games made there that don't depict blood or cop cars. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
interesting.
There's my long explanation.
So they're still buying VIC-20s over there in Japan?
They might be. It's so. I watched some. I'll see if I can find the name. It was it was a long form YouTube video or it was a documentary about how, I think it was about the PlayStation 2 and how that was still being bought new like 15 years after it was out. Just very, 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 very interesting.
Spence, do you have a PS3?
No. No, the closest I came to a relatively modern console was got a Wii. Never had a well, my kids were, by the time this stuff came out, they were all grown and gone. So they had a Genesis.
Oh yeah.
For a while, and they had a couple of different generations of games, but never anything like PlayStation or that caliber of platform.
And they turned out okay.
Yeah. Oh no, it was we did, because we had a lot of computers in the house too, which was different. We didn't have so much the game consoles as I had. I mean, I had a network in my house back. I can't remember how long I had Token Ring network in my house, and I actually had set up for my son using what was it? It was either NetWare Lite or something. What was the other competitor to NetWare, Amnon? It was,
I'm trying to think. I remember
Lantastic.
Lantastic. Yeah.
Lantastic. So I had Lantastic because you needed to do, it was either NetBUI or whatever the protocol was, but there were games like Duke Nukem and other things that you could play multiple player over networks. So I had 3 computers set up on a network, and my son would actually run gaming weekends.
LAN party.
Yeah, and it was a great way. They were all here. I mean, it was like if you worried about what they were doing, they were here playing and they're having fun, and they would have big elimination rounds.
Yeah, there you go.
And it was
The
fun to
original
watch
LAN
them play.
parties.
Yeah, so it was. So I was because I could, of course, I had access to this stuff.
Yeah, they were. It would bring families together back then.
Yeah, well,
Not today.
my daughters didn't want to play it, but
No Duke Nukem for them. That was a little.
no. Although they played, what were the Broderbund software? What was the one that was like an adventure game where different generations of it. You would be like you'd see this guy walking through landscapes and all this stuff. You'd have to learn what's behind the wall. And I can't remember the name of that. There was also another one that was very, very beautifully graphically done. Not Quest, but it was the same thing. It was like a
King
Discover,
Quest. King Quest.
So
Was
like
that it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they made all different kinds of games, but this one particular game was like way out there graphically. I don't remember what it was called.
It may have been King Quest.
Leisure.
Oh, yeah, okay, there was actually King's Quest was the main one, and they had like King's Quest 5 and King's Quest 6, and it got better over time.
What was the one about Larry something?
Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
They're doing a remake of that game. I think it's supposed to come out this year.
I still have my original PC one. It wasn't well, it wasn't a PC one. It was an XT. It was still an 8088, but it wasn't AT. But I still have that up in the attic with a bunch of floppy disk games like Tapper and what are some of the other ones? Executive Suite and all these other things. Yeah, it's funny.
All right.
Why do I have them?
Moving on along.
Oh.
I remember a few weeks ago we were talking about that company that got sued for refilling ink cartridge. I mean, toner cartridges.
Lexmark.
By Lexmark. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court said on Tuesday that companies give up their patent rights when they sell an item, in a ruling that puts new limits on businesses' ability to prevent their products from being resold at a discount. The ruling is a defeat for Lexmark International, which was trying to stop refurbished versions of its printer cartridges from undercutting its U.S. sales.
Could you say, is this like an across-the-board decision or just in this case? Because that has
listen,
implication.
So,
that can't be right.
Well, I don't know, but listen to this. They said that this also it's also a blow to companies like HP and Canon that sell their printers for relatively low cost with the idea that they will recoup money on sales of replacement cartridges. So even they were not mentioned in this, it's obviously going to affect them. So yes, I guess it is across.
Well, is it related to printer cartridges only? Because where is the advantage of having a patent and developing something and producing it if as soon as you sell it, they can copy it? There's got to be.
Yeah, I would say that it's not for everything. I would like to think that it's not for everything.
Maybe it's for remanufactured stuff.
What they were also complaining about was the fact that they bought a load of cartridges abroad and then sold them in the US, and that they were complaining that they shouldn't be allowed to do that, but they were told by the court, tough luck.
Mm-hmm.
It's only refilling cartridges. They're not actually copying the cartridge and producing them themselves. They're just refilling. And they're saying that the act of refilling it isn't breaching your patent or patent.
Right. They did. That's right. They're not building a cartridge. They are cleaning it out and reloading it.
But how does that relate to resetting the chip on board to make it look like a new cartridge? I wonder how they get around that.
Well, I don't know that any of these have chips. I don't think any toner cartridge has chips, but maybe they do.
On the inkjets, I think Epson were
Yeah,
one of the
inkjets do.
the first ones.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's going to put pay to that as well, because if they're saying that your patent expires in effect once you've sold it, then surely they won't be able to put a chip on it to say this cartridge is dead, it can't be refilled. Maybe that'll be the next lawsuit coming up.
Maybe. The part that I like the best here, other than the fact that yes, we can still buy remanufactured or refilled cartridges, and I always tell people about it and say, "Oh no, but it's not the same." Listen to this. These cartridges often have no noticeable difference in performance compared to genuine ink or toner cartridges. The only real difference is that customers can save a lot of money. So the reporter here is reporting what these companies are talking about and why Lexmark just wants to sell theirs for, and Lexmark sells it for a lot.
Like I say, you buy the printer for $50, and to replace all the cartridges, if it's color cartridges, it's going to cost you $60.
Easy.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Throw it away and buy a new one.
I kind of settled on brother printers. There are 3 in the house. They're 2 different kinds, but I buy the toner and the drums from eBay. I'll buy 5 at a time, and I find the way that I do it is I find a dealer or a seller that sells a lot of parts or a lot of cartridges. Most of these places just do cartridges with good feedback and lowest price. And I gotta say, maybe I had once a cartridge that didn't operate right. It seems, but I think that was an HP back in the HP days.
It had pink toner instead of black?
No.
Well, I looked for a replacement toner for my color inkjet. Sorry, color tone. Start
Ink.
again. Color laser.
Yeah. Oh.
All in one. And because I haven't, I bought it in 2010. I didn't realize. I thought it was more recent than that. And I thought, well, eventually they're going to say toners aren't available anymore. So I looked online to see how much they cost for a replacement pack of all the colors in the black, and it was £108 from Samsung if it was a genuine. So I looked online at remanufactured, and it was half the price, exactly half the price, including shipping, of what the real Samsung one was. So I thought, well, what the hell? I'll order it and stick it on the shelf.
Yeah, you have to shop around, and you have to make sure that you get the best for your money.
Yeah.
And if you're local here in the Raleigh area, or people were coming from far away places also. Nabil over at the fairgrounds refills cartridges and always had great reputation. Always stands behind what he's doing, and if a cartridge is not working right, he'll give you another one. It's if you find somebody that does that for you, and you can just go and drop your cartridges, you're doing real good. And with ink cartridges, it's a little different when you get refilled than toner. In ink and a toner cartridge, they're going to have, if it's a cartridge like which most people use, like in HP, and that's not the way it is in the brother. You get a cartridge that has the toner and the drum all built in the same unit. So they have to replace the drum if the drum goes bad, or if it's too old and it's not. In ink, you just put ink in there. That's it. You make sure that the nozzles are open, and you just put ink in there. If you buy, we always used to tell people, if you buy new cartridges and you want them refilled, don't drop them at one of those big box stores and trade them in for refilled ones, because chances are the refilled ones that you're getting are really, really old cartridges that have been refilled. Are they going to work? Probably. But if you have, this is what they call in the industry a virgin cartridge, one that was never refilled. It was produced, sold, and now it's empty. If you can go and drop it at somebody that does it for you, and they refill the quote unquote virgin cartridge, you're much better off. And chances are, if you take care of it and you don't let it dry out, that cartridge will just continue to serve you for years. I mean, I remember back when I was using inkjets, and it actually was a Lexmark. Yeah, it was a Lexmark. I had cartridges that were good, that I was using the same cartridges for like a year and a half, 2 years, because I was filling them myself. And as long as you don't let it dry out, they'll just keep on working. You can do the same.
Can be a really messy job doing it yourself, though, especially the first time you try it.
Yeah, always
don't wear good clothes.
Yeah, cover yourself in head to foot in plastic and all around the room.
Well,
do it out in the street in front of your house.
Yeah, do it in the backyard.
People are asking me about, well, why can't you refill? Why can't I do the toner? Well, it's not that you can't do the toner. I mean, it's not rocket science, but that toner it gets in the air. And remember, this is like, it's sort of like metallic stuff in there. Very, very fine. And almost you'll like breathe it in.
Compared, isn't it?
We had a neighbor at the internet center that's what they were doing. They were refilling cartridges. And you should have seen the equipment that they had to use. Each person that was refilling was sitting like in front of for the lack of better explaining it, like in a grill where they fix hamburgers at a store where they serve you and they cook everything on the grill, and they have that big hood. They had a hood in front of them that would exhaust everything through a few filters and then go out. And the people had to wear those white coveralls, those paper Tyvek type.
Yep.
And they stayed clean. In the beginning, you would see somebody, or every now and then you'd see somebody that had a black splotch on them, and you knew that they screwed up. And they had to be inspected, and pretty regularly. So it takes a lot to do that. You don't want to do that yourself, especially when the cost is not that much when you buy the refilled ones. So, yeah, it's an interesting industry, and I would hate to see that. I mean, there are a lot of businesses that do that, and to say that, oh, you can't do that anymore, it will devastate them. So I'm glad to see this decision. But, of course, it's going to keep on going now on appeals. Is there appeal when you go to the Supreme Court, or is that
No,
it?
Supreme Court, that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
They overturned the lower decision, didn't they? So
Yeah.
the decision is final now.
Okay. Good.
So tough luck, Lexmark.
Yeah. Exactly. Zachary.
They'll just have to reduce their price, won't they? They're not going to make so much money on it.
Yeah.
That's the only way they could compete now. Tough.
So here's something again that has to do with the UK. Technology industry demands for special measures to let companies hire foreign workers after Brexit have been boosted by a surge in demand for technology visas. Tech City UK, the government organization that processes applications for the dedicated Tier 1 Exceptional Talent visa, said the successful application had more than quadrupled in the last 12 months. So I guess you guys were right. After Brexit, there's going to be a lot more business for the UK.
In many aspects.
I heard the world was coming to an end, though.
That's what the big knobs are saying. But well, like Jorvik has said many times in the past, it's now we're free to negotiate our own trade deals and not be held back by Brussels.
Well, according to the EU, I thought that all the usable oxygen over the entire island was just suddenly going to disappear and everybody was going to suffocate. It didn't happen?
No.
So they might think.
We've got really big lungs in England. We can hold our breath.
You can hold your breath.
All joking aside,
we're going to stop the wind from blowing.
All joking aside with this, I mean, the way that this was portrayed, how this thing was actually going to play out, I want everybody to remember back to that. Was that about a year ago now that this happened, or 9 months?
Last year.
Yeah, last year. I mean, the way this whole situation is being portrayed, if it went through, you would have thought the world was coming to an end.
But it's the same.
Oh,
same. The same thing happened now
It's
when
crazy.
we pulled out of the Paris thing. It's the world is coming to an end. That's it.
But it's like last week. The MP3 is dead. No, it's not. It's just the way it's being reported. It's not dead. It's flourishing, if anything. It's just the way that they report it and the spin they put on it.
Yep. That's why he calls it fake news.
Yep.
Oh,
Alternative facts.
there you go.
Yeah.
Fake knees? What? What does that have to do with knees? It's pretty funny.
It annoys me the way that these big industries and big companies spin it. So when you read it quickly, which most people do these days because you haven't got time to pay attention to so much anymore, you read it quickly and you get their spin on it. It's only when you read it carefully and then perhaps look around that you start to realize how much of a spin they have put on it and what a load of baloney it really is.
My favorite part of the Paris Agreement is that we've only been in it for 16 months, and it's being portrayed as if we've been in it for 40 years, and it's unprecedented that we would not be in it.
And they treated it as though it was a treaty. It's not a treaty.
Yeah, and it's been 16 months.
It's
So
an
before that,
agreement.
everybody was dying of global warming, but since the dotted line was signed, everybody was safe, and now that line is no longer there, everybody's dying again.
Oh, I heard that since we left, the oceans rose an inch. Did you hear the story? This is related, just a funny thing. It's on a TV show, but it's still what that takes the pulse of the way people are thinking. The writers of the show about there's a resort that this family owns on the show, and I can't remember the name of the show, down in the Florida Keys, and they wanted to sell it. They decided it was time to sell, and the real estate agent said, "Sorry, you can't sell because there's evidence that within 10 years the ocean's going to rise and your resort will be underwater." So they couldn't sell it. It wasn't worth anything because they couldn't sell it because the ocean was going to rise.
Well, I can't wait for global warming. The seas about about, I don't know, half an hour drive away from me. So if we get global warming, I'll be living on a seafront property. It'll be great.
Your property
on a little hill. It's really good.
Values will go up.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath, Steve.
I may have seen
not
my
in
property very soon. That'd be great. Totally unrelated. Has anybody watched House of Cards yet?
No. That's a program I've never watched.
So House of Cards is a Netflix original for anybody that is not familiar with it, and the concept is you follow you follow a person that goes. It's the entire show is based around deception and lies and getting the most absolute amount of power possible. It's a really good show. It's Kevin Spacey's Frank Underwood, who's the main person of interest in the entire show. They are this is the 5th season, just released last Tuesday, and it's a Netflix original. So when a season is out, the entire thing is available at one time, which is really cool. So
it's available now.
Yes, and I think it's the best season so far.
I've seen several people commenting on it and saying that it's brilliant, but I've never seen it.
It's definitely.
I watched the first season and I started to watch the second season, and it actually upset me so much to see what was happening that I was like, I couldn't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
it was one of those things like, oh, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah, that's this entire 5th season. Is every episode is how is this happening? How is this happening? It's very.
I've watched many new shows that are similar to that now that I'm not surprised anymore by. So I'll probably go back to watching it eventually.
Yeah. So for anybody,
go
ahead.
Sorry, go on, Nick.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm like that when I watch a lot of these things to do with politicians or government or police, when they sort of put it in such a way that you sort of think, surely that can't be happening. Well, you know full well it's happening, and probably 10 times worse. So nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend the whole series, but definitely this season. If you've watched season 4, get on it, because it will. This is there's advantages and disadvantages of the binge watch shows. One, of course, the main advantage is that you can watch the entire show when day one if you want. The disadvantage is if you don't, other people already have, and you have the possibility of seeing what happened online. I spend a lot of time on Reddit and stuff like that, and I would imagine that after a couple of days of if I was not up to date with the season, some of the plot points could have been spoiled for me. So it's kind of a catch-22 in that respect, but really good season.
That's one disadvantage with the internet now and everything being instant. You get a series across in America that you're all talking about, and it hasn't started airing here yet. So you're always looking around at various media thinking, no, I don't want to find out about it. And that really is bad. They need to release it across the planet so everyone can talk about it at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that why the threat of those people that said that they were going to release, what was it? They were trying to hold one of these companies hostage.
It was Netflix, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Disney as well was another one with the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But the Disney didn't fall for it, so.
Right. All right, let's see what else we have here. So Microsoft is apologizing for mistakenly releasing some confidential and internal Windows 10 builds to the public. Builds from some of our internal branches were accidentally released for PC and mobile, reveals Dana Sarkar, Microsoft head of Windows Insiders program. This happened because an inadvertent deployment to the engineering system that controls which builds, which rings to push out to insiders. So I guess it's not people that decide this, it's systems that decide that.
AI.
The Verge reports that Microsoft says it's quickly reverted the issue and put blocks in place to ensure these development builds didn't reach more people. So, small portion of Windows 10 users still receive them. Worryingly, the accidental mobile build even reached retail devices outside of Microsoft Windows Insider's testing. If Windows 10 testers installed the mobile build, it forced phones into a reboot loop and bricked the device. Testers will have to recover and wipe the device using the Windows Device Recovery tool. Can you imagine calling Microsoft and say, I installed this and it's doing that, so I need help.
Well,
where did you get it?
Going to the Insider Preview program, but I can't imagine it going out to
I know.
New devices. Wow.
Somebody must have put it out. Who knows? Yeah. Windows 10 testers that installed the PC build, which is an internal Edge branch, will have to wait for Microsoft to publish a newer build or roll back using the recovery options in Windows 10 settings. Again, it shows that I would call it security is lax, control is lax, whatever. It's just
somebody who's in control isn't monitoring what's going on properly.
Yeah. It's
probably all left to AI, and then there's some human actually looks at it and goes, "Hang on, the AI's made a mistake. A human needs to step in."
But like that commercial about Intel AI, we're going to be friends. Yeah. Hey, Spence?
He's back.
He just came in. Spence?
Yes.
Would you like to get into the specials?
Sure. I would. Are we ready?
We should be ready.
I'm sitting comfortably.
Vintage specials from like 6 years ago? Can do a repeat.
I guess you want me to go into that. Yeah.
In the very beginning of doing the specials, it was literally in the radio studio with that day's ads. Just before, in the morning, before I'd leave to go to the radio station, I just circled the ads I wanted to talk about. That was it. Whatever was in the paper that day.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Computers 2K Now specials for June 4th, 2017. Amazing. June 4th. Wow. And on the front here, Amnon, did you have a VIC-20?
I did not. I started with a TI-99 4A.
I had access to a VIC-20. It wasn't mine, and somebody let me use it. And the first one I ever bought was a TI-99. But I also had a Commodore PET for a while that I could play with the little chiclet keys. It wasn't even a real keyboard. And the cassette drive. Amazing. Okay. So starting with, and our three retailers are Best Buy, Office Depot, Office Max, and Staples. And you will know, if you look at the graphic, what is sold where. The B is Best Buy, the O is Office Depot, Office Max, and the S is for Staples. Maybe I'll change it around, change the letters to different letters. What do you think?
No, it's fine. People are getting used to it.
Yeah, well, I could change it. Z could be Best Buy, and X could be, well.
I think it's reasonably self-explanatory to a compos mentis person.
All right. So starting with laptops today at at Best Buy, we've got an HP 11.6-inch convertible laptop with an Intel. It says Intel Pentium, but don't make that think that this is not a decent performer. This is their new quad core that had been out, the quad core series. So $329, $70 off for a convertible touchscreen Pentium laptop from HP. At Office Depot, they've got the Dell 15.6-inch Inspiron i7 for $599. That's $200 off the regular price. Staples has an HP 15-inch i7 for $499, $150 off the regular price. Desktop all-in-ones. We've got at Best Buy the HP AMD A10 desktop computer, 8 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive for $369, $80 off. By the way, let's remember to talk about the AMD processor news that happened this past week. Office Depot Dell Core i5 desktop for $549, $130 off. And HP has an all-in-one, entry-level all-in-one for $349, $95 off. It's a 22-inch screen with an Intel Pentium quad. Tablets. At Best Buy, we've got Insignia 8-inch tablet, 32 gig for $89. That's 10 off. Office Depot has a New Vision 7.85-inch screen, 16 gig tablet for $59. That's $60 off. And Staples has a Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 9.7-inch tablet, $100 off for $399. Networking. Best Buy's got the Netgear AC1600 wireless router with DOCSIS cable modem. Now, normally I look at these combo units and I say, cable modem's usually not all that great. But this one for $139, 10 off, has a 16 up or 16 down, 4 up channels. So this will give you up to 600 meg. And what do we max out now with Spectrum, Amnon? 3 something? Max? Something like that. But 16 channels, that's enough to get you probably what's offered by most cable companies out there.
Yeah. So, Spectrum, you have to have 16.
Yeah, 16 for the high speed.
Yeah.
But this is a good deal. DOCSIS cable modem and AC1600 wireless router for $139, save $10. Office Depot has all of their Netgear ProSafe switches and access points on sale, 20% off. And if you're not familiar with the ProSafe line, these are the ones with the metal chassis and cases. Indestructible, good stuff, works well. Still using a lot of this stuff from many, many years ago. Good deal there. Check that out if you need all different types from 5 ports up to 24 ports. Staples has a Netgear AC1750, a smart Wi-Fi router for $109. That's $20 off. Storage. At Best Buy, we've got what is the best price of the season for a 1 terabyte USB 3.0 portable hard drive for $49.99. It's $50 off the regular price. You may find it somewhere online cheaper than this, but for a store, this is the cheapest, store you can walk into and buy it from. This is the best price you'll find. Office Depot has a 32 gig SanDisk USB 3.0 flash drive for $12.99. It's $27 off the regular price. And Staples has a Seagate 2 terabyte portable slim hard drive for $79. If you don't have a battery backup unit, UPS, on your home communications equipment, whether it's a DSL router, cable modem, however, your Google Fiber coming into your house, some of these have built-in battery backup, but they don't back up everything. If you have a separate switch or Wi-Fi router, it doesn't back those up. Make the investment. This is an APC 650 VA, which is a decent size, more than you need for just backing up your cable modem and Wi-Fi. But $59, 15 off. Another retailer, I think it's Office Depot or Staples, has the 450 VA on sale for $49 today. Go out and get yourself one. It's a good deal. Also, what people don't realize is that these units can also be used as portable power supplies. If you have an occasion where you need to power something away from actual AC power. These can be turned on. If they're fully charged, it can be turned on remotely and used as a AC power source, portable AC power source. So
when you say turn on remotely, you're talking about taking it in the field.
I don't mean remotely. I mean just take it with you.
Take it with you.
Hold the button down and it will start.
Right.
It does not have to be plugged into AC power for it to operate. So very handy for occasionally you might need it for something like this. So don't talk about this type of a product much at Office Depot, but these are handy. This is a Targus laptop charger with fast USB charging port. If you've lost your power supply for your laptop, or you need a spare, or you travel a lot and you want to carry less stuff, this is an option because it's got, not only does it have the actual laptop charger, but it's got a fast USB charging port. I'm sorry about that. Fast USB charging port built in. These are handy to have. $10 off the regular price. If you try to replace the one that came with your laptop, you might get some sticker shock. How can you buy a $300 laptop and then the power supply costs you $100 to replace it? So interesting. That's at Office Depot. Staples have the Logitech MK520 full-size keyboard and wireless mount combo, 20 off for $39.99. Monitors, we've got a Dell 23-inch IPS monitor for $109.70 off at Best Buy. Office Depot has the Samsung 24-inch curved LED monitor for $169.99, save $60. I always thought that this was more about flashy than it is about actually functioning.
Right.
But if I had an office and I wanted to have a receptionist out there and impress people that came in, I'd put this on the desk where the receptionist is because it looks cool. Does it work better? Don't know. But a decent price. They do make bigger ones of these, by the way, curved ones. Staples has Acer 23-inch display for $99. It's $50 off the regular price. Printers, Epson at Best Buy, Workforce 3640 wireless all-in-one, half price, $99.99, save $100. This is a printer scanner fax copier, color inkjet. Brother at Office Depot for $129 is also a printer scanner fax copier, but it is a mono laser printer. Very versatile machine for small business because it does copying, it does multi-sheet feeding, and so on. It does have you lift the lid up, it's a scanner. Just these devices are very popular, very useful and popular for the price. So it's $70 off the regular price. Staples has a Canon image class all-in-one laser printer for $139.99, is $60 off. Home automation and security, we've got the Ring video doorbell for $199.99, is $50 off. This continues to be a very popular product. They've added new devices to it, like cameras and things. So from a basic security perspective, this is a really simple way to add video to your front door.
And the price is not going down.
No, it's not. If they were struggling, I think they would lower the prices, but the prices stayed up there. This is a good price for this product, though. And also, I know one of my customers actually has this next product from Office Depot, the VTech Video Doorbell 2-pack. What you do is you put this remote unit, it's the rightmost unit there, out by your front door, and it has a camera built in it. You press the video doorbell, it goes ding dong, and it takes a picture of you standing at the door and sends it to one of the two handsets or both handsets, and they can actually respond back to you through the unit, through a speaker, to say, hi, thanks, I'll be right there, or leave the package on the doorstep, or go away, I'm not buying anything. So $119 for this. It's very simple, doesn't require much. It uses the radio that talks to the actual handsets to transmit the picture.
So no internet involved?
No internet needed for this product. And finally, yet another inexpensive tilt pan Wi-Fi IP surveillance camera. This one's called Amcrest for $79. What I liked about this, not only is it Wi-Fi, but it does have TalkBack. So, no, I'm sorry, this is not the one with TalkBack. I looked at that too. This one is actually a, let me see if I got that right. No, this is the TalkBack one. I did look at another one that was just a direct connect Ethernet one that was meant for large areas, like looking at warehouses and soccer pitches and things like that. They specifically said that in their ad, and it was about the same price. But this one is in fact a Wi-Fi security camera system, $79, worth checking out. And finally, today's product focus. I've installed several of these already, and I know I've mentioned them. I don't know if we've gone, how deeply we've gone into talking about programmable thermostats, but the Ecobee thermostat. I've installed several of these at customer locations. And what I really like about this setup, it does what the Nest does. It learns and all that. It has some other unique features where it has a proximity detector that will actually detect it. If the schedule is that you're away during the day and the temperature is adjusted for nobody being at home. If you come home, it will recognize that you're in the house and say, oh, somebody's in that room. Well, the little white device you see next to it there is actually a remote sensor. And you can buy this and support up to 16 of these remote temperature proximity detector sensors. They talk back to the main thermostat. And what it does is it allows you now to adjust, say, and we have this problem in our house, say at night, you go to bed, you have a temperature set on the thermostat out in the hallway, but your bedroom, the door is closed. And the thermostat is only getting, the temperature coming to the thermostat is only showing up from 2 or 3 open doors. The rest of the doors in the upstairs are closed. Well, my bedroom is freezing at night when this happens because the only air that's being fed to the actual thermostat in the hallway where the return is from the bathroom, one of the bedrooms, and my office. It doesn't come from the rest of the upstairs. So you can take one of those white portable sensors, put it in your bedroom, and program it to say from 10 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning, I want the temperature in this room to be. So this solves a lot of air conditioning balancing systems.
I don't know.
Balancing issues.
I don't know how it can do that.
What do you mean?
Because this is not like a zone thing.
No, but think about it, Amnon. If your temperature, it's going to run the system to adjust the temperature for the space where the sensor is.
Yeah, but that's my point. You have one unit in the house, so when it's cooling, in order to cool that one room, it keeps cooling the rest of the house.
Yes, it will. But the point is that in the opposite, not having the sensor,
okay, yeah,
it's running too much, trying to get to the temperature I want in the bedroom. So now what I do with this is it'll run just enough to keep the temperature in that room. That you're disregarding the rest of the house at this point. You're not caring what the temperature is going to be like somewhere else. So
so just so it's clear, it's not going to make the bedroom 72 and the living room at 76.
No, it is not.
Yeah,
that's not the point of it.
Right.
Without multiple zones, you're not going to fix, or having your system. Even then, you'd have to have the system balanced. But my house was built with has one central return in the hallway. There are not individual returns in each room, and that's a problem. The commercial environments, they have a feed and a return in every room, and they typically will have temperature sensors throughout the building and multiple zones and air handlers that open and close. But this is an inexpensive way to solve an issue like that.
Yeah.
And plus, you can tell, like, if you want to know, well, what's the temperature down in the den right now? You go to the app and say, all right, show me the temperatures throughout the house. And you can get, this system isn't balanced very well, is it? So it can be used as a diagnostic tool too. They're just guaranteed to save you money, just if you've never used a programmable thermostat before. So they have the Ecobee 3 Generation 2, which is out for sale now. For one sensor, it's $183 on Amazon. If you want to buy it with, they call it they have something called the Ecobee Lite, which is just sold without the sensor. It does support sensors. You can add them, but it doesn't come with the sensor. You can buy extra sensors. They come with, at the bottom, you see for $69, you can buy 2 more sensors. You can buy all these different bundles. The Ecobee 4 is essentially the same thermostat, but guess what's built in, Amnon?
What?
Alexa. It's got an
boy.
Alexa built into the thermostat. So you can be standing in the hallway. I don't know if I really need this. But it's interesting. They did a deal with Amazon, and they built in an Alexa hub into the thermostat. So
Interesting.
an interesting product. It's worth checking out. It's not cheap, but I mean, the prices have come down. In the beginning, these were $299 for the one thermostat and one sensor. So the prices have come down.
That's a good price, though.
And I'm going to be putting one in my house because I know it's going to help regulate the temperature. You know, I don't ever wake up warm during the night. I always wake up freezing cold. So I know it's at times the AC is just going too long for when we go back to being the only ones in the house. This is going to be very important. So I'm installing one actually this week at a customer's house for this exact reason. They have a clock setback thermostat, which was installed very stupidly right above the return. Stupid idea. Now, mine is close to the return. It's like 6 or 7 feet away on the wall where the return is in the ceiling. This is literally 2 feet over the wall-based return. That's where the thermostat is. It's stupid.
The first rule, they broke it.
Yep.
Spence, and I don't know the answer to that, but Dr. John saying, is there a way to record the Ring doorbell locally to avoid monthly fee?
Good question. I don't know. I have to research it. Let me do a thing here.
I'm wondering too. That's an interesting question. Yep.
But that's it for specials for June 4th.
Why, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Call us and let's talk. Call us. No, I'm not going to sing.
Oh, right now.
Call in.
If you call right now.
Call in.
Let's see. There was something here about. Oh, remember some months ago we were talking about Geek Squad actually doing stuff for the FBI.
It rings a bell.
Yeah. So the Electronic Frontier Foundation is suing the FBI for records about the extent to which it directs and trains Best Buy employees to conduct warrantless searches of people's devices. The lawsuit stems around an incident in 2011 where a gynecology doctor took his computer for repairs at Best Buy's Geek Squad. The repair technician was a paid FBI informant that found child pornography on the doctor's computer, ultimately resulting in the doctor being charged with possessing child pornography. So, yeah, I mean, do we condone child? No. But you take your computer to be repaired, and GeekSquad people will go through it to see if there's anything that they need to report, and they actually want to find something because they get paid for it. Think about it.
Could be quite open to abuse if you think about it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting hold of somebody else's computer. If they don't like them or they've had a bad day, I could do with earning $50.
Yep.
So it looks like from the Ring doorbell alternative here,
Yeah.
that there's no way that I could find. I just searched through several forums to hack the Ring doorbell to get the video locally. You have to pay for the cloud service, but there are lots of alternatives out there. Blink camera is one that can do local. Apparently, you can integrate it into your home automation system. Use a local NVR. Where's the other one here? There's another one called Skybell HD, which does use cloud, but it's free. There's no charge for the storage. Runs about $195. Same concept as Skybell, but it also includes integration with Amazon Echo and if this then that programming. So there are several alternatives out there. I think there are some security systems too. Extensions of video recording setups that allow you to have a doorbell camera that will record. I've installed a couple of these multi-channel IP camera systems that record to a local NVR all the time. I'm trying to think of what was the name of the company that actually had an add-on camera that was a doorbell too. Let's see if I can find it.
While you're doing that, this is an interesting article here, and I know a lot of us listening here and in the chat will be interested in that. In an industry that favors youth over experience, the best defense against age discrimination may be avoiding becoming a victim in the first place. The writer is Bob Violino in a report on your rights and how to deal with ageism in IT. And he goes, that includes being a lifelong learner and staying on top of developments in your field at every stage of your career, and seeking out training at your workplace and on your own. Make sure your employer knows you're willing to undertake training to retain and gain knowledge and skills. It's also important to show current or potential employers that you bring value to the organization through experience and flexibility. It keeps going. They're talking about going, and if you see that there is some kind of discrimination, bring it to HR and all that. But I mean, the thing here is nothing beats keeping up. And I thought that Nick will jump at me right now and say, see, stop using XP. But he didn't. But it's true. I mean, you need to keep up with what's happening in your field and show your employer that you at least that you're willing to try and learn, that you want to learn about this. Because experience is important, but experience without knowing what's going on out there is not that important. And the young generation that lives by their tablets and phones and so forth, is bringing to the workplace a very important asset. So don't let it discourage you if you see discrimination, but do something about it. Right? Right?
Absolutely.
No?
Right.
No?
It's always good. I mean, if you're interested in something, whether you're working in that field or you're just interested anyway, it's always worth it. Certain technology-wise, to try and keep up
Sure.
up to date with it. It's becoming more and more difficult if it's sort of general technological sort of stuff you're interested in, because it's changing so quickly. It's very, you just about get your head around something new and something different that's happened, and it's changed again.
Yeah, it you know, I mean, I always said that this is what I like about this industry, is that it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
It keeps changing, but it also helps in keeping you interested in it, because it never turns to be just a routine. Okay, here's another morning. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna press the A button. You know? I mean, things change.
It stops you getting bored, that's for sure,
Yeah.
because it's constantly changing.
Right. And it's nice when it's like that. Absolutely. And this article caught my eye because of the way that it opened up. It says Ron Barzik, a web developer at AOL. Say what? Web developer at AOL. Is AOL out there still? Anybody knows? He has discovered, obviously, they are, unless it's a different AOL, and reported a bug in Google Chrome that allows websites to record audio and video without showing a visual indicator. This is from Bleeping Computers that says the bug is not as bad as it sounds, as the malicious website still needs to get the user's permission to access audio and video components. But there are various ways in which this issue could be weaponized to record audio or video without the user knowledge. The bug's central element is a red circle and dot icon that Chrome usually shows when recording audio or video streams. How many people out there, they see something, allow, and say, oh yeah, allow.
Too many.
And that's the problem. So you can apparently start the service and hope that somebody will say, yeah, I'll let you do it. Yep.
So I cannot find an alternative to Ring that will record locally, but there are a few that are similar features that have free cloud service. So you think about it, you've got to be sending the video to some repository, right? So if nobody that offers you to record it on a local NVR that I can find, but the one that I found that was free, the Skybell HD, looks like a good, unless they start to charge at some point. I don't know. The Ring system is $2.99 a month. There are several alternatives. There was one I found on wasn't on Kickstarter, but it was another crowdfunding site.
You said $2.99 a month?
$2.99.
That's it?
Yeah, to record the video.
Dr. John.
Yeah. I mean, you still can use it as a real-time camera, and you can monitor it on your phone. So if the door rings and you want to talk to the person,
right,
and tell them, go away, well, you can still do that, but you can't record the video. Oh, I have an alternative. Amnon, tell me if you think this will work. You get a VCR or an old camcorder, right? And you set it up on a tripod and you point it at the monitor that has the real-time picture from the doorbell.
Yeah, it'll work.
And you have to just keep changing the tape every hour.
No, you can get one of them old tape changers.
Well, you could actually get an NVR with a camera.
Yeah.
And have it point at the monitor.
No, I mean there are other ways of doing it, but I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
I don't think that's the cost of that is not outrageous. So
I mean, you get at that point what you want is you want to get a security system. Because here you can get one that, and Spence talked about it before, with 8 cameras, and use just one if you want to. If you only care about what's happening on the porch, and that's connected to that unit, and you can record with one camera probably months of things that are happening live.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you're just
video.
running one camera, you've got a 1 terabyte drive. You've
Yeah.
got months and months and months. Yeah.
I mean,
there's
have
every imaginable brand of. I like the Zmoto stuff. That's
Yep.
what I've installed.
That works.
And you can get a 4-channel, 4-camera Zmoto on Amazon. I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, the idea behind the Ring, I thought, was that you can be at the store, at work, wherever, not at home even, and
Real time.
see
Yeah,
who
you
is
yes.
ringing and pretend that you're home. When you talk to them through that, they don't know whether the person is home or not. So to not have the service doesn't make sense in this case. But if you just want somebody that will show you something that will show you, then yeah. I have a system at the house that I installed, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that, from Visec, and it's 12 cameras with 1 terabyte. I have about 4 weeks of live video from everywhere, all around. But it doesn't, I can get to it from the internet to watch, but it's not the same thing. And you can't do much when you're out there. But it works for, no, yes, Spence.
The Zmoto basic system, you can buy it with and without hard drives. It's cheaper if you put your own hard drive in.
Yeah.
But you can get a 4-camera, 8-channel system for $150. Now that's with exterior cameras. They have other options where you can get, for the same price, you can get 2 indoor, 2 outdoor cameras. I don't really recommend the indoor ones. I installed a system with both. The angle of the indoor cameras, even though they're nicer looking for inside, is not as good as the exterior camera angle. The exterior ones look like a bullet hanging off the wall, bullet cameras. So they're not the best thing to look at inside. The domes are nicer, but I just prefer the bullet cameras because they're aluminum bodies and they're hardened and all that. The interior ones are okay. I'm not saying they're bad, but I think it's more flexible.
Well, I mean, if it's concerned, if you're concerned about having it inside, you can paint them. There's nothing wrong about painting them white or green or whatever to match the color of the room, and then. The problem is to have, well, it's not a problem to have the infrared. It's fine actually for night, but then the domes have the infrared too.
They do.
Yeah.
But they're not the ones that are on the ball mount.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable to install those inside.
No.
They don't look and they're adjustable, whereas the dome ones are adjustable to an extent, but you have to pop the cover off the dome and turn the camera and adjust the angle manually. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more trouble to do it. It looks better, yes. It's not as imposing looking, but they both work fine. The quality is the same. The infrared is the same.
Right.
It's just
it's the same board.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I bought that kit because I was putting it in an office. And after I installed it, I used the dome cameras in all the 4 hallway locations, and I used the other cameras in the lobby and outside. So,
Oh
well.
Listen to this. U.S. senators want people to hack the Department of Homeland Security. On Thursday, Senator Maggie Hassan, a Democrat, and Republican Rob Portman introduced a Hack DHS Act to establish a federal bug bounty program in the DHS. It would be modeled off the Department of Defense efforts, including Hack the Pentagon, the first program of its kind in the federal government. Launched a year ago, Hack the Pentagon paved the way for more recent bug bounty events, including Hack the Army and Hack the Air Force. The Hack the DHS Act establishes a framework for bug bounties, including establishing mission-critical systems that aren't allowed to be hacked, and making sure researchers who find bugs in DHS don't get prosecuted under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. It's better to find vulnerabilities through someone you have engaged with and vetted, said Jeff Green, Director of Government Affairs and Policy at security firm Symantec. In an era of constrained budgets, it's a cost-effective way of identifying vulnerabilities. If passed, it would be among the first non-military bug bounty programs in the public sector. A lot of companies did that. I mean, didn't Microsoft have something something like that too back? Maybe they still do. I don't know. To try and break it, and they would pay you if you found the bug, which I agree. It's a good way of doing it, but when you open it, you open it. You know, I don't understand why that guy was talking. It's easier to work with people that you vetted. I mean, what? You have to apply to be a hacker. You know, makes no sense, does it?
No.
No, I don't know how it works. Good morning.
Amnon, it's Mike in Fuquay.
Hey, Mike in Fuquay.
Got a question for you.
Yeah.
A bunch of questions, actually.
Uh-oh.
I've got the bundle with Time Warner Cable, I guess Spectrum now.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking seriously about getting rid of the TV portion. But I know practically nothing about streaming services.
Well, I
Can
mean,
you give me the ABCs of how this stuff works?
I still have cable TV, but I can tell you this. You have to sit and think, what am I watching on TV? Write it down. And
There's about a dozen channels
Okay.
other than the local stations that I would want to have access to.
right. Then you have to sit down and say, okay, I'm watching HGTV. Go to HGTV and see what's available. And
They'll tell you what services will stream them.
oh yeah,
Okay.
Spence, do you do any? Did you?
Oh, I'll buy HBO for certain seasons of the year, so I can watch, like when Game of Thrones comes back on.
You're talking about buying it from?
Directly from me. I could do it either through Time Warner or HBO. It doesn't matter.
No. Do you do any streaming, just like Aaron used to do when he didn't have TV, right?
No, he still doesn't have TV. Yeah,
Okay.
no, you can look at Hulu. You can look at all these, the new YouTube offering.
What happens to local stations if you want to watch
Some include local stations.
Well,
I should say network stations. They don't include, like, you can't say I want the Raleigh feed of ABC. I
Nick,
don't know that you'll get that through.
Nick, you were going to say?
Yeah, well, this actually fits into something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Plex, which is the Plex media server, with their most recent update, now supports live TV with cable tuners. So you can get a this will cover your network shows, your local network shows. You can get a USB Hauppauge tuner card and use Plex, and it has a whole guide and a DVR and stuff like that.
Any idea how much that is?
Plex is free. It's an open source media server.
But the problem is that the problem is that the tuner won't necessarily work with. You're talking about using it for cable or for over the air?
No, for over the air.
Okay. When you say cable, I was thinking that's encrypted.
Oh yeah, no, not
Yeah.
for cable, for over the air though. So that'll get you your local network channels, and you'd be surprised. I mean, like your local, like I'm sure WRAL has what channel are they 5?
Yeah.
5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3.
Right.
There's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of channels, sub channels, Me TV and stuff like that that are all over the air.
I have a setup, I haven't used it in a while, called Simple TV, which is a single channel over the air tuner, and I have a WineGuard dome powered antenna in my attic. And the Simple TV is a free I bought it when it first came out. I bought a free lifetime subscription, so I have to hook up an external drive to it, but it will record local. It has a free directory. But whoa, sorry, dog is barking.
Sorry.
But there are a couple of new ones that I just saw an announcement of a company, inexpensive one that has 2 tuners built in and a hard drive, and it was less than, I think it was like $129.
So all of the services you've been talking about, you used via your PC.
Or if you have a smart TV, some smart TVs will
smart
support it,
TV.
or a Roku device, or
That was the other thing. What's the story with hardware now? Like this Roku, I've been hearing a lot about.
well,
What
it
does that
depends
actually
on
do?
I mean, to tell you real fast, I mean, you should get the Roku because you can watch us on Roku.
I can watch what?
You
We
can
have
watch
an app.
Computers 2K now.
Yeah.
But
No, but so this is for example, Plex Plex is a really great service. It's a media server. So what you do is on a computer in your house, you run Plex, and then you use Roku as the client. So you stream your media files or your TV shows or whatever from Plex on a computer in your house to your Roku on the television. So you don't have to have a computer hooked up to a TV in every room.
How does this Roku connect to the TV?
HDMI, like a cable box.
Okay, it's HDMI. I do have that on the TV.
The older ones have composite.
I would not recommend anything below the Roku 3 at this point. The older ones are very slow and are not. I definitely would not recommend them.
But
I've been reading about a Roku Express.
That's the stick version.
stick,
Plugs directly in. If price is a real issue, I would recommend the Express. If not, I would recommend I'd recommend a Roku 4. It's about $100. But it's the most up-to-date one. It's fast. It does support 4K, which down the road may be useful.
there's something.
It does not have composite though.
No.
It's HDMI out only. You can get an HDMI converter.
That's what I'd recommend over
yeah.
the older ones, because I have a Roku 2 in the basement, and that thing is slow.
I was going to get a Roku for the bedroom just for the fact that it has that headphone plug on it.
Starting with the Roku 3.
Yeah, the Roku 3 has that.
And your mobile phone, actually. The app will stream audio to your phone. Pretty cool.
So, Mike, there are many ways to do it.
What does a Roku give me access to?
Oof.
Anything, literally anything. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Plex. There's hundreds of thousands of apps in the store. If you think it's most likely on Roku. But now a lot of those
In
things
other
are
words, if I were to subscribe to, let's say, Hulu, Roku would give me access to it without doing anything to the Roku.
Absolutely. Yep. You just sign into your account.
Take a few minutes to browse and do some research on subscription services, because there's talk of new services coming out. The YouTube one in particular. What is it called? YouTube Red?
Yeah. Well, no. Not
YouTube Live.
YouTube Live. Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube Live.
Whatever the name is, but it's a bundle of 40 or so channels. Amazon just talked about a new one, but the problem with that is that they're not allowing you to skip over commercials. But these are evolving. I think you're going to see a lot of changes. What I'd like to see is somebody come out with an a la carte service where you say you can pick 20 channels from this list of 150 for so much per month. That's what I want.
Yeah,
but
BIOS kind of does that, but they sell it in tiers, and it's not the greatest.
Yeah,
That will be the real solution. Somebody
That
will.
would be great. When
Somebody will do it eventually.
But the issue is licensing and subscription costs to the back end provider and all the deals that go on in the background. I have bad audio.
No, you sound fine here.
Yeah. Okay. Joe says I have bad audio.
These subscription services, are they on demand or are they live broadcasts?
Both.
In other words, if I get a subscription service for CBS, am I going to see CBS as it's being broadcast, or do I have to request a program?
I can speak for HBO. HBO, when you buy that, it is not live; it's on demand. I think CBS is the same way. It's like watching it on your DVR. You don't have live access to the channel. I think I'm not certain.
No, come on, I mean, how do you watch news? How do you watch the news?
It's CBS is live,
live
streaming and watching recorded episodes.
So I would have to look for a service that specifies live streaming.
Yes.
Yeah, CBS All Access is live TV and CBS All Access Originals.
Now, one other question about this Roku. It just plugs into the TV. I think I would probably look for the one that has composite outputs, which you said was the Roku 3.
The Roku 2. That's a very old unit, though.
Why would you want that?
Old unit.
Well, I've only got one HDMI port on my TV, and I'm using that for my DVD player.
Get a HDMI splitter.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely get a splitter.
We
I would not recommend
for HDMI.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
have
wasn't
automatic
aware that was
splitters.
there.
I would not recommend the Roku 2 to anybody. It is an old unit. It's still pretty expensive, and it is very, very slow. Roku 3
Okay, and that was the one that had the composite. So you're saying at least a Roku 3?
Yes, and most of the apps, when you launch them on an older Roku, will say, we recommend a Roku 3. So definitely the Roku 3. And you can get an HDMI switch. They're not expensive. They may be $30 or $40 on Amazon. They're pretty affordable.
No biggie then. Let me see what other... Is there any website that you can recommend that will give me a comparison of the streaming services as to what channels they have available? I haven't found a good one yet.
Spence may know better than I do. I can't think of a one-stop shop that does comparisons.
Yeah,
I know
me neither.
Most of the networks do it, but I mean the big boys are Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon for streaming content. That's about it. And then there's a couple of live variants like YouTube Live and PlayStation View.
Hulu did sound like the best, but they don't have CBS. They don't have a contract with CBS apparently.
Well, and what happens typically with people that cut the cord is you have to subscribe to a couple of different services to get what you want.
That's what I was getting at, that I would probably have to go to at least 2.
Yeah, and you know, it's unfortunate that you have to go to 2 places, but it sure as hell's a lot cheaper than cable.
And I've got one question. Why do you care about CBS?
Well, there are a couple of shows on CBS my wife and I both like. I mean, I can, right now, we're going to lose that. I was going to say we can watch them on demand, but we're going to lose the cable if we get rid of it.
Mike, here's what I would say. Go and Google on cord cutters, cord cutting forums, things like that, where people that do this get together, and I would believe you would get more, a fresher look than what we can give you here. Because
last question. If I want to watch 2 different streaming channels, let's say my wife wants to watch something on one TV and I want to watch something on the other, does that require like 2 Roku units?
I would think so.
So if you have 2 different televisions, yes, you need 2 different streaming units. So 2 Rokus, 2 Apple TVs, 2 whatevers. The same way you would need 2 cable boxes.
Right. But do I need to subscribe to the same service twice?
Depends on the service.
Yeah. Netflix allows, Spence, I think it's 5. 3 concurrent streams.
I think 5.
5 on the highest plan, 3 on the regular like $7.99 a month plan.
So
CBS
some
All
services
Access,
allow multiple streams.
Netflix does, Hulu does, CBS I don't know, and Amazon I think they allow more than one too. But now you get into the CBS with streaming stuff live, that may be where they start. I would imagine all of them support more than one, but obviously I can't speak to the specifics of it.
Right. Okay, so
Of
I
all
guess
places I just stumbled across, Consumer Reports actually has a guide to streaming services. It's not exactly up to date.
But it can give you an
It's a
indication.
place to start because it mentions Acorn, Amazon, CBS, DirecTV, Fubo, Hulu.
Oh, I didn't even think about DirecTV there. That's a brand new service, DirecTV Now, that seems to be very popular.
Yeah. So that it's getting DirecTV Now.
Satellite. I got rid of them for cable.
Well, it's a
channels.
streaming service. It's not with the satellite.
Right.
Mike, you're coming into something that is at its infancy.
Yep.
And expect a lot of changes. And it may actually cost you more at this point.
I would have to keep the internet service.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. And that's, right now I'm paying about $147 for a bundle.
You have to remember one thing. You have to make sure that you have internet service without caps. These things will eat your data fast.
Yes.
Well, so far, what used to be Time Warner doesn't have a cap.
That's fine. There are no caps.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm going to have to start looking into this as well now for some things coming up. So I'm going to start doing some of my own research into this. So I'll hopefully be able to bring you some updates in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I don't anticipate doing anything, in the very near future because right now I don't know what I'm even looking at. So if you come up with something, I'll keep an ear open.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be the biggest problem for me and for a lot of people is live sports. Unfortunately, cable has the monopoly on live sports. So that's really the biggest issue. But if you're not a sports fan and you don't care about that stuff,
not really,
then there's probably a solution for you.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest problem though, sports.
Last question, then I'll hang up. Is there, when you subscribe to these streaming services, is it a contract or month by month?
Monthly.
Monthly, okay.
I think
so in other words,
now
I can drop it after 2 months and.
Yeah, Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, those are all monthly. DirecTV Now, I believe there is some contract with it. Don't quote me on that. And CBS is a monthly. Same thing with HBO. You just pay by the month.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll
have to look into it. Appreciate the help.
I would think that the reason why you have contracts with any provider is when they give you something as far as hardware and they're trying to recoup it. Here, you have to do everything on your own, so they are not so pressed to have a contract because all you do is you tapping into what they already putting out there. So that's think about this. But I would say go and look at and join some forums of people that are doing this and see what other people that are doing it on big scale are talking about.
I've read a couple of articles where they say all you need to know about streaming. And it really didn't do me much good.
No, I would get into live forums where people keep talking about it daily and you get fresh tips and fresh talk about what's going on in the market now.
I've actually got another recommendation real quick. Tom Merritt, who formerly from Twit, does a show called Cord Cutters.
Right.
It's a podcast. And it's about a year, actually it's probably 2 years old at this point. And it's called Cord Cutters. I would look into that. If there was an up-to-date source on all of that information, I would imagine that he's got a pretty good grasp on it, and that's called Cord Cutters. and it's a podcast.
Tom Merritt.
Yep, Tom Merritt. It's called. If you Google Cord Cutters podcast, and it'll come up for you.
Cord Cutters.
Right. Okay, I'll do that later.
So just
on
put
today.
Cord Cutters podcast. Yep. Yeah, and he's good too.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Hey, good enough. I appreciate all the info.
Hey, glad we
Let
can
you
help.
know if
Sure.
I come up with anything.
Hey, does your neighbor have cable?
Yeah, both of them.
I'd suggest at night you get out there with your infrared goggles on and you dig a trench and run a cable over from their property to yours, and you'll be set.
Not so much.
No, okay.
Not so much.
Worth
All
the
right,
try.
thanks a lot. I appreciate
See
it.
you later.
Sure.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Amnon,
be-
you don't have to have the Roku with the built-in headphone. You can just get one of those little Bluetooth streaming devices. I have one. I have a Bluetooth headset, and I don't remember the name of the one I got. So many generic ones out there. It's just a little puck with a phone jack connection, and I bought a digital converter because the only audio output I have from my television directly was digital. So I have a digital converter which puts out both RCA and phone plug.
Right, and then you have
into
to
this.
take that into a wireless.
I have a little wireless transceiver.
Yeah, you see
Bluetooth
that.
transceiver, and I connect the headset to it, and I go.
Yeah.
Works great.
Yeah. Nick, you were gonna.
Oh, yeah, I'll be looking into that cord cutting situation a little bit more. So, yeah.
Did you guys notice what Nick said before? I mean, when he was talking about all this, and said, like Channel 5, you know, it's spoken like a local person.
Oh, yeah, because he's not getting to know the Raleigh area.
Well, I know, but you know, if you honestly, if you load up channel on a even if you have a cable hook, it's actually not the case in North Carolina, but it is up here. You can still plug coax with Time Warner. You can still plug coax into a TV, and it will. You can listen to, or you get channels. You don't require that digital converter box. So if you plug in coax to a TV, you'll get all those sub channels. So you'll get 13.1, which is HD, 13.2. You know.
That's how
There's
it
a
used
lot of
to
stuff
be.
on those channels, especially Me TV. I know for some older people that like watching those shows. I mean, it's free. It's over the air.
I mean, people are talking about the fact that with an antenna, you get, upwards of 30, 40 channels.
40 channels. I mean, some of the stuff is garbage on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many episodes of People's Court do you want to watch?
Yeah, exactly. But again, if you want to talk about live sports, you can get Fox Sports and CBS for football during the football season. Baseball, maybe not so much. But yeah, there's 40 channels over the air.
Yeah. Gene is asking, he says, what can you do with Roku that you can't do with Apple AirPlay? I don't know what Apple AirPlay is, but.
So AirPlay is the feature of sending things from your phone or a computer directly to your television. And it's kind of the same argument between a Google Chromecast. The nice thing about the Roku is it's not tethered to any device. You use the Roku remote. The Roku is connected to the internet. Your phone is not the intermediary between the two.
Okay.
So that's the benefit of the Roku is it's a standalone device. It doesn't require your cell phone to be on or in use for it to work. Plus, there's a whole bunch of apps that are available on that store.
The reality is you're probably going to use a combination of all this stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
You're going to find that you try to do something on Roku, and the best thing you can do, you want to show a YouTube video you have on your phone at that moment that you don't want to have to go in and look for on Roku. You can just use a casting app to send it to Chromecast, for example, or to Roku. You can send it directly to Roku. So,
Yep.
it's going to be a combination.
That's what I was telling Mike, that it's probably going to cost him more right now because of all the different. Right at this point.
Yeah, well, it may cost him more and this is what a lot of people do. They subscribe to a whole bunch of services at the start. Because I mean, you think, oh, I want to watch this. Oh, I want to watch that. And then you get into it and you realize, oh, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching that. And then you can one by one cancel. And and only get what you want. So that's, I mean, there's a whole bunch. You could probably drop $200 a month on streaming services.
Yeah, you can.
If you subscribe to all of them.
Yuppers.
Yep.
All right. Before we close, Nick, I want you to tell people what you do on Sunday evening.
Sunday evening, it's going to be a good show tonight. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Against the Norm, 7 p.m. Eastern. We actually have an iOS app now that you can download. So it's a search WFBT in the iOS App Store, and you can download the Big Talker app. I'll be live at 7 o'clock from 7 to 8, wrapping up the week's news. Just a lot of stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, I probably won't get to it all. So check that out. 7 o'clock tonight.
All right. Any other announcements for anybody else? Guys?
Nope.
All right. All right. Well, thanks, guys. That was great.
Thank you.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope that you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next week.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.